Hey, welcome back to Mike's Italian Grand Adventure. I'm here with my good friend Eric. We went to high school together a long time ago back in Minnesota, and he's living up in Germany. So he came and drove down here for the weekend, and we're hanging out. So we're having a great time. So we're up here on the rooftop terrace, as you can probably see. Take a look at the view back there. A little bit hazy today, but still beautiful, tons of green stuff. But what I wanted to show you real quick is we started working on the rooftop terrace deck. Look at this. So this is pretty exciting. This is what I want. So each of these squares is 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. So, roughly, what's that, 20 inches? And they sit on top of these plastic feet. So it distributes the weight over this big, huge area so that it's not causing problems with this rubber membrane. And then it has these triangles, this grid to kind of go in each corner. So you get a uniform gap. And then the great thing is when it rains, the water drains down here onto the deck and it can drain off onto the rubber membrane. But then also this protects the rubber membrane from sun. And it's really, really, I think, a great system. I think it's going to work great. And it's really, nice and solid. Really, you can feel it. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a great solution. The problem is each one of these weighs 22 kilograms. So that's close to 50 pounds each. And from the ground floor up to the top floor is 62 steps, then up the stairway to heaven that I just made. So it's a chore. The guys were not super happy with me, but I showed up. I helped them carry them all up here too. So I didn't just walk away. I joked that I was going to leave, that I had plans, but I stayed. So yeah, so this is going to be a great solution. The one big thing we need to get is a railing up here. Because if you look, this area right here, this is just dropped straight down 4 stories to the front entrance. So that's a little sketchy. There's already a railing over here, as you can see, but everything else is just the rooftop tile. So you're safe from there. And then this is the skylight. So the skylight just has a metal ring around it. And when it rains, it would just collect water. So there needs to be some kind of cover. But that's 132 centimeters across, and I'm glad I share in these dimensions. I want you guys to know the exact measurement because I happen to remember it, so that was great. But the biggest they sell is 100 for like plexiglass. It's 100 centimeters across, 200 centimeters long. So I can't get a single piece to go all the way across that to seal it in. So we're looking at some different solutions. I think what I might go with is I can make a little pyramid. So if I make like 150 centimeters long, that'd be the same as 3 of these floor tiles. And then I can cut them in a triangle and they'll just kind of come to a point. So that'll keep people from walking on it. It'll also shed the rain off. I think it might be a nice solution. Kind of look like the Louvre. Yeah, what the heck, why not? So anyway, those are the quick updates here. Let's go through the credits, and then I got a bunch to show you in the house and a bunch of progress and a couple of cautionary tales, things I've learned, mistakes I've made, again, always. So come on back. So we're down from the rooftop terrace. Now we're in the attic, and there's been quite a bit of a transformation here too. We really got it cleaned out. There was a bunch of old material, the old timbers that I built Stairway to Heaven out of, and a bunch of extra stuff, and some old tile, and just junk that accumulates in a house over a long period. And then the floors were quite dirty. It's like probably 50 or 60 years of dirt and dust, and clearly there had been some pigeons in here at one time. So Adam was up here sweeping this out. And you can see it's all cleaned out, looking pretty nice. We'll probably do another round of sweeping with a little better broom. This is a little broom he was using, but you can see some rooftop tiles left to go up there. So we're making progress. There's a lot of stuff that's we're getting done here. And this is going to be electrical too. So there's a mast up here that used to have some TV antennas on. So the only internet available here is over the air. It's broadcast. So I need an antenna up there. It's going to come down. I'll have my networking equipment mounted on the wall here. And then we'll be able to run network cables down, and I got a couple of access points, 3 access points. So then Wi-Fi will be available throughout the house, because I don't think the signal is going to go through these brick and concrete floors and walls and stone walls. So we'll put an access point in each floor, and the guys are actually starting to install the heating air conditioning mini splits. They're going to be hung outside on the back wall of the house here, because you can't put them on the front of the house. don't want to see them, but also I think historically they won't allow that. So yeah, lots of progress up here. Let's move on downstairs. Okay, so I'm here in the stairwell, and I just did a short on this, but if you didn't see it, take a look at the transformation in here. If you remember, these stairs had that crappy plastic wainscoting paneling stuff, you know, up like 3 feet up the wall, all the way up. I mean, you can kind of see where it was here. But so the guys pulled all that off. I pulled all the nails off. If you look at an earlier video, I did a time lapse of that. They fixed up all the holes. It's been primed and painted, sealed, and sanded. So this is ready to be painted. But the really great thing is they've already started painting this railing. And look at how beautiful this railing is. Wow, it really, really looks good. And so it's just the first coat. They wire brushed the whole thing and then sanded it and then cleaned it with alcohol, and then they started painting. And so what we're going for here, Paolo picked out the color, but we really want to accentuate this darker veins in this marble. So if you look, they're kind of like a bluish, dark bluish gray all over through all the marble stairs all the way up, and they're really, really special. And this color really accentuates it nicely. So this is going to be an incredible transformation from the before and after photos. And then the color, we're going to do like an antique white. So it's not quite bright white. It's definitely not like yellow or off-white, but it's kind of just a little bit off. And man, it looks beautiful. Actually, I've got a rendering that, an AI rendering that Paolo did. So take a look at this. You can kind of see an idea of this. And it may not be exactly this color. It might be a little bit lighter, but it's going to look really, really nice. So the other thing that I have that I ordered and just got the other day are new sconces. So there's sconces on each floor, and they're hooked up to a timered switch. So any floor you press a switch, they all go on. So there's 4 of them. There's one right when you walk in the stairwell, and then on 3 of the floors going up. So you can see the wiring up here in the wall for this one is just kind of sticking out. So it's going to be up there, here, down there, and then another one over the entryway. Just as you walk into the stairwell. And the timer currently is set at like 30 seconds, which isn't enough, because from the bottom to the top platform is like 61 or 62 steps up here to my office in the attic to the access to the rooftop. So we need a little more time than that, man. You're jogging to get up here that fast, but we'll put it to like a minute or something like that. But yeah, and one of the things was there was no switch on this office, the floor where my office in the attic is, that was connected. So Dodrick was able to get that wired in and worked in and connected to the system. So this is a big one. This is going to be really nice. And this space in here is just incredible, really awesome. So, okay, so that's great. And here's another big one. So take a look in the wall up here above me. So these lines are the refrigerant coolant lines for the air conditioning, heating mini splits and power. So we're going to be using those for the heating and cooling in the house. And we needed a way to get them into the couple of rooms. We're going to put them in 2 of the 3 rooms on each floor. We're not going to put one in the kitchen because, you know, you're using the kitchen's kind of heated with the oven or whatever you're doing in there. And the heat from the other rooms will kind of flow in there. But, you know, Dodrick felt pretty strongly that we didn't need one in there. So we're putting one in each bedroom and each living room on each floor. So he wanted to put kind of like a surface chase here, which we're going to do in the hallway. But I really didn't want it out in here because this is just so clean and nice. And I said, hey, can you trench through here? He's like, yeah, sure. So they cut this all out of the brick and stone. He said this was really hard in here. It was a tough work. But so you punch through there and then into this bedroom on the rental level floor. It comes out here and he has the box where the mini split's going to mount, and the coolant and refrigerant lines and a drain line for condensation, and all that's coming out in here. So we'll have one here and then in the living room next door. In fact, I'll go over there. So this is the color for this room. I think it had been repainted because they first painted it and it was a little bit more yellow. So if you look at the floor tile here, this is what we're kind of working off. I think the tile color, the color was kind of more like this in here. And Paolo came in here and you should have seen his face. It was really funny. It was really fun. I was like, hey, what do you think, Paolo? I like it. And he's like, I hate it. I hate it. And I was like, wow, okay. Well, then I said, we need to change it because I want you to be happy too. Because, you know, he's doing most of the design. He has this great design mind. And, you know, I definitely want to, you know, adhere to what he suggests, you know, and follow along with him and support him. So what we're doing is kind of more of a sand color. To me, it's really close, but I don't think this is it yet. This might be it. But what we're trying to do is on the tile is really kind of this background color, like maybe these flecks in here. It's more that sand color. It's kind of like I think the name of the paint color is actually sand, but it's kind of more of a taupe to me. So the yellow was wet when we first saw it, so it changed quite a bit. But yeah, and then this is the living room on the rental level. And I think we might put a bed in here just so there's room for 4 people to stay. But you can see the paint, and what I really like is the way the paint goes around the windows. So if you can see, this is where the arch of the ceiling, of the barrel ceilings or vaulted ceilings, where it comes down to the flat wall. So we use that as a transition, or Silvio uses that as a transition, and then goes up around the windows and all the way around. And I really love how that looks. And when you have this wall painted and the window wells painted, it just looks great. It accentuates that incredible manufacturing, or the incredible artful building that they did when they built these ceilings and these walls. So really, really nice. And then you have this nice curve up around the ceiling on this wall, which is really cool. It really shows off the vaulted ceilings too. And then this is where the mini split will be in here. So anyone who's interested, we're doing a 9,000 BTU, 12,000 BTU mini splits with a single condenser. So there'll be 2 condensers, 1 for each floor in each system. So 9,000 BTU will go in the bedroom, a little bit smaller. 12,000 BTU will go in the little bit bigger room here. And then also that'll work into the kitchen as the doors are open and moves around a little bit. So out here, you can see where all of the condenser lines in here are in this plastic channel on the surface. It was just too much to cut them all into the walls. And honestly, this wall between the hallway and the living room is a kind of a narrow wall. It's not super thick, so it would have been hard to cut across and fit all that in there. And, again, it's an old house. We're retrofitting it. We're putting in stuff that wasn't, designed to go in here. So when Darek asked if he could do it, I said, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. And this is in the hallway. It's not in the living room. But in that stairwell, I didn't want it. And I didn't want to see it on the surface in either the other rooms either. I just wanted those rooms to be clean and original. So I thought this was a great solution. So we just have the surface channel. And then downstairs, I'll show you where that is. It's a little different because the room that's a bedroom here is a kitchen down on the first floor, which is going to be my apartment. So I think the other thing I want to show you just is the kitchen again. And in this room, you guys have seen that before. But for that, we'll stop here at the bathroom. So here's one of the cautionary tales. First of all, because we're going to use the mini splits electric heat, I wanted some kind of heat in here. We're going to leave the radiators in place. Those can always come into play later. We can always run gas in the house later, get a gas boiler, fire up the boiler system. It's all going to be functional. It's all going to be in place, but we're not going to be using it at this time. That might be something we do in the future. And that's a big change from originally what we're planning on doing. We're going to get gas, but it looks like it'd just be really expensive at this point. So we're just going to wait. But I was like, we need some kind of heat in the bathroom. So I said, can we put in electric radiant floor heat? He said, sure. So I did some research and ordered up a set. And so we have electric radiant floor heat in here. And they put some of that self-leveling flooring on top of it. And here is the control. So you can see the thermostat. And this is actually Wi-Fi enabled too. So you can kind of wake up in bed and turn the floor heat on or set a timer or whatever you want. But the cautionary tale is tile. We're still waiting for this tile. It's just a huge fiasco. Well, huge, but it's a fiasco. It's kind of a bummer because the guys would love to get this done. I know it would really improve their morale too to have these done, the bathrooms done. They just feel like a feeling of accomplishment instead of everything they're working on is like 3/4 done. So what happened was, if you remember 4 weeks ago, we were going to the big hardware store, like the Home Depot equivalent. And Doderick put in the wrong store, the store in Milan, east of here, instead of going to the store in Turin, which is west of here. And the store in Milan was much smaller, and they didn't have the tile selection. I had picked out tiles in the store in Turin and liked it, but they didn't have any tiles here that I liked, so they had a special order tile. So they said, well, let us check with the manufacturer, and we'll let you know when it's in stock, and when it's ready, then it'll only take 5 days to get. So we waited. In the meantime, Paulo's like, don't order a custom tile. It always takes forever. I said, okay, well, let's go look for tile. Take me to a tile store. Help me order something that's in stock. Help me pick it out. He's like, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. And then we didn't, and then we didn't. And then it was another week, and it just never happened. And finally, I just said, you know what? They say it's in stock in Milan, or it'll get there in like 5 days. I'm just going to go order it. So I ride my bike over there. And you can't order it online. You can't order it over the phone. You had to go there in person. So I go there in person, and I realize that they, for the little tile trim that goes on the bottom of the base trim that's not tiled wall, they had the wrong color. They had the wall tile color, but I wanted the floor tile color. So I said, oh, is it okay if I just change this? Do they have that in stock? And it was just like one box of it. So they said, yep, no problem. So I placed the order. It's been like 3 weeks now, maybe even 4 weeks. I mean, and we're still waiting. So, cautionary tale, don't use custom floor tile. I've got one other story for down in the entryway, which this one was my fault. And another one related to tile again. And once again, custom order tile. So we're waiting. This should hopefully come in this week. And when it does, there's going to be a flurry of activity. The tile's going in, the shower's going in, the toilet's going in, the bidet's going in. It's going to be really close. And I need to get the shower, the glass enclosures, which I think are going to be custom order too. Unfortunately, we'll see. I mean, they might have some, but I need to get on that this week. So, and then here, yeah, this is a kitchen up here. I had the guys cover it in plastic because it was brand new. And then they're sanding for painting and doing whatever, and it's all covered in dust. I'm like, you guys, can we put some plastic over this and just make sure we stay clean? It's brand new. I don't want a bunch of dust on there scratching the glass surface of the cooktop or whatever. So they took care of it. But I would have loved it if they'd done it on their own initiation. But it was fine. You know, it's fine. It was no big deal. I knew it was going to get dirty, and I knew it was there. It was just we had to get it in when we could. That was when they could deliver it, install it, and I knew we weren't going to be done with all this stuff. And if we had been doing the exposed brick ceilings, oh man, it would have been here a month before it was ready. So, you know, I'm okay with it, but I did ask them to do it, and they did it right away. So that was great. So that was a really good one. But yeah, really incredible things are really shaping up in here. And also today, Darek is going to pick up the base trim. It's a Sunday, so they're not working, but they were out and about, and actually we're going to go to Silvio. My painter is an opera singer, and he has a concert today in a church. So we're going to go over there in a couple of hours, but he was going towards Turin, and he's like, I'll just cruise over and pick up that base trim. So I think he's getting 250 meters of base trim for the entire house, for the whole house. Battiscopa in Italiano. We've been trying to remember that word like 10 times. We finally got it. So battiscopa in Italiano is base trim. Hey, I hope you've been enjoying Mike's Italian Grand Adventure Week 8 status project update. It's a crazy busy morning around here. Kids are getting dropped off at the school. The guys are working. Tiles getting cut, as you can hear. But hey, there's so much content for Week 8 that I decided to cut it into 2 parts. So we're going to stop here. We'll continue on next week. But if you are liking my content, please click on the thumbs up. Give me a little like. And then if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe link and the little bell so you get notifications when I upload new content, because I'm doing shorts as well as you know, the weekly full episodes as well. So tune back in next week for part 2 of Week 8 update.